Senior Moments, sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Senior Moment Show. My name is Bryce Patton, here with the fabulous Sid Roeder. How are you today, Sid?
I'm always fabulous when you call me fabulous.
Oh, good. Well, I feel a lot better today after last week, so
Good.
it's great. Hey, we have a fun guest, friend of mine.
Yep.
So I'm excited.
Member of the Empowering Seniors Group.
Member of the Empowering Seniors Group as well. So, but before we get into that, you want to tell us about the Empowering Seniors Group?
I would love to. The Empowering Seniors Group is a group of professionals, and our guest is one of them, that have dedicated their time and effort to provide information to seniors, their family members, caretakers, and all the great people that listen to us every Saturday morning. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors Group, you can go online and find us at empoweringseniors.info, or you can email us at empoweringseniorscv@gmail.com, and the CV stands for Cache Valley. And lastly, if you have any suggestions for this show, anyone you would like to see us invite, you can reach me personally at 435-512-6406.
Thank you for doing that. Again, I really don't want to introduce that. I appreciate you doing it. Well, today we have a guest who I've known for quite some time, Alan Thorne with RT Men Mobile. How are you, Alan?
I'm great. Happy to be here. Bryce and Sid, thanks for having me back on.
Yeah. Hey, well, for somebody who might just be tuning in or recently tuned into our radio show, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about RT, how you got that started?
Yeah. So with RT, it's been quite a journey over the last few years. I had a profession in medical mobility. So we dealt with mostly power chairs and manual wheelchairs, and I would help people get that equipment. And once they had it, I was helping to maintain it and take care of it. And my career changed a little bit. I got out of the industry and recognized that there was still quite a need that I was no longer able to fulfill. So I came back about 2 years ago and we started RT Med Mobile. And the specialty with us is focusing on in-home accessibility. So we're not only doing the custom-built manual chairs and power chairs that I used to work with, but now we're also focusing on in-home accessibility like ramps and stair lifts. And we're one of the only providers that are actually providing that in-home care for home accessibility in Cache County now. And we're starting to grow pretty quickly. It's been an exciting journey over the last couple of years.
So for someone who maybe wasn't even thinking about it and is just starting to realize maybe we need some help, how does that work? If somebody gives you a call and says, Alan, we need to figure out how we can make the home safer, accessible, how does that work?
That is a great question. So when someone reaches out, currently I'm actually the one that would be doing the in-home evaluation. And so they're going to get an appointment with me to come out to their home. They don't have to come out to our site because we want to see how this individual gets around in their home. I want to evaluate fall risk, environmental concerns, their own health status to see what's going on. So once they get in touch with me, I'm setting an appointment to come and sit down with them on their couch at their house. We're measuring doorways. We're looking at floor surfaces, the layout of the house, where they need to be and what they need to access. And then we're evaluating what kind of equipment is going to best accommodate that situation in their own home. So whether they need mobility assistance through a wheelchair or they need to be able to get up and down some stairs, what the best option for that's going to be. And then we break it down even more as to what is your Medicare or your health insurance going to help pay for, and what is going to have to be paid out of pocket, and where can we kind of get the best bang for our buck on that. And then being able to recommend the equipment that's going to save them the most money and help them be safe in their home. And that whole experience we actually do for free. So I don't charge for those home visits. And we can get a quote and estimate to put together and go over the process. It's fairly painless, and it's really helpful to have people that know that we're going to be there in the home and know exactly what their needs are before we recommend equipment.
So other places, they have a storefront and whatnot. So is that home visit the biggest thing that sets you apart from everyone else? And what are the benefits?
That is, for sure, the fact that we're in their home and we're not just having to listen to a description of what they're looking for. it'd be really easy for me to put a selection of, power lift recliners out, for example, that they can come look at and they can sit in and try. But I'm able to come in and see, where in your living room is this lift recliner going to go? How well is it going to fit? How is it going to affect the flow of traffic coming in and out of your house? And be able to get you an idea of how that's going to work. There's been times we've been able to bring the chairs out to the home and actually set them in place and let people see how they work before they place an order. So it takes a lot of the guesswork out of the equipment. And for a lot of these people that are needing this help, it's difficult to get out and to go try it. And once you purchase it and you bring it home, if it doesn't work, a lot of times you're out of luck. So we're trying to make sure we get the decision right the first time. And we do that by being inside the home and actually letting them demo the equipment where it's going to be used.
Do you find that people are unaware of many things that might make their life easier?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's the concern with senior needs and senior care is it's not something that's really talked about until you need it, right? We have people that all of a sudden are having struggles they never imagined they have, and no one has ever talked to them or told them how to prepare for this. So they don't know where to turn. They don't know what to look, and they don't know what options are available. So to have me come into the home and actually break down everything that's going to help them, then, of course, the other concern they have is, how much is this going to be? And it's amazing how often we can show them it's more affordable than they thought it would be, or show them how much their insurance is going to help with. It makes a big difference for peace of mind.
So what are some of those things that you see that people can use that they don't think about often?
The most common one that tends to be the first thing that we're talking about is just a power lift recliner, something to help you safely get out of your chair, get you up onto your feet with reducing your risk of falls. That tends to be the place that things start. And from there, we're looking into how to get onto your front porch from outside, whether that's a little platform lift that raises you up to the level or a ramp, and where you get those and how those are installed. That's not something that's ever really discussed until someone needs it. So to have us come in and be able to explain that makes a big difference.
Yeah, we're already coming up on our first break here, but Alan, before we get out, I want to give you a chance to mention your contact information and also if you have website.
Yeah, so the best contact information is actually through our office. Our phone number is 435-260-6171. And like I said, my name's Alan Thorne. I'm a certified assistive technology professional. So that's the best way to reach us, again, is 435-260-6171.
Thank you, Alan, and thanks for joining us today to get some information out to our seniors. This is the Senior Moment Show. We are coming up on our first break. If you'd like to learn more about our sponsor, the Empowering Seniors Group, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info. We're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know that one of the greatest threats to our quality of life is a fall? 1/3 of Americans 65 and older, and 1/2 of those over 80 will fall this year. Many will never be the same again, and some will never return to their homes. This is Bruce at Comfort Care. One of the ways we can help people stay in their home is through our free in-home fall protection survey. Let us help you identify these fall risks. Call us at 754-7676. Comfort Care, 754-7676.
Hi, this is Tyler. Recently, my father passed away, and White Pine provided the funeral services for our family. They were friendly, thoughtful, and attentive to every detail. It isn't often that a loved one passes away, so it was very important to my family that everything be handled just right. Because my dad was loved by so many people, we had a lot of family and friends that traveled from out of town. I really appreciate how White Pine Funeral Services made sure everyone was comfortable and that the focus was where it needed to be, on my dad and my family. They really took care of us during this tender time.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
Getting around your home should be easy and safe. At RT Med Mobile, they provide wheelchairs, stair lifts, ramps, and electric lift chairs to help seniors maintain independence and comfort. Their friendly team offers free in-home consultations to find the perfect solution for you or your loved one. Locally owned and here to help. Call 435-260-6171 today. RT Med Mobile, because your mobility matters.
Did you know 1 in 3 people will visit a nursing home? Did you know that once there, they will stay there for an average of 3 years? Did you also know there are insurance options that can help cover this experience? Hi, I'm Tracy Ferris with Blue Water Health Insurance. It's not cheap to stay in a full-fledged nursing home. Long-term care insurance can help you or a loved one get the care they need and deserve. If you wait until you need it, you may be too late. Give me a call at 435-890-8155.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
No problem, sweetie.
I can't believe you're able to fit everything in that little sedan.
Bye!
When they move out, you can move on to a house that fits your life. It's time to live in a space that fits your family.
Hi, this is Sid Roeder with Achievement Realty.
Let me help you to find a home that suits your needs and is less to take care of. Save money or even make money on the sale of your current home. Call me today at 512-6406, then list it, sell it, and move on.
And welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. My name is Bryce Patton here with wonderful Sid Roeder, and we've been chatting with Alan Thorne from RT Med Mobile about all things mobility. Alan, the question I imagine you get quite a bit is, what does RT Med Mobile stand for?
You know, that is a common question because it is a little bit random for sure. So I mentioned earlier in the last segment that it was recognizing the demand for someone, a professional in the medical mobility world, is what made me get back into this. And it really comes down to one phone call. So some of you know Bruce Lee, who used to be part of this radio show, and he was trying to help a certain customer with some medical equipment and with a different company, and he was having some frustrations. And this was shortly after I'd left the industry, and he called me, and he was quite upset and getting a little frustrated with things, and he asked me why I couldn't get back in the industry. He said, because, I quote, "We need a reliable and trustworthy company we can call when we need help with medical mobility." And so he and I actually got together and decided to form RT Med Mobile. And the name was inspired because we wanted something that said reliable and trustworthy, because that came directly from his quote. So it's a cheesy story, but that's where RT comes from, is because Bruce had said he wants someone reliable and trustworthy. So take that for what it's worth, but that's what started the company all the way back when it was just an idea.
I think that's a fabulous story. But let's dive a little bit in. You mentioned before with the cost, because I think some things changed since last time we've talked, and now you're able to take Medicare and Medicaid?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, Sid, because, yeah, last time I was here, we were a cash pay company, and we were focusing on things like ramps and stair lifts and powered lift recliners, which are things that Medicare doesn't tend to help with. And since then, we've been able to complete the process to become credentialed with Medicare and Utah State Medicaid. We're in the process of completing our credentialing for Idaho State Medicaid right now. But what that means is we now can start billing Medicare and Medicaid for the items that they would typically cover. Now, that is a limited scope. They're not going to cover your ramps and your stair lifts, for example. But now if someone needs a powered wheelchair, for example, I can help get that and bill that through Medicare. Also, if they need, like I said, a custom manual wheelchair. We don't want people sitting in these standard manual chairs that tend to sag and that you can just get off the shelf. We can now have chairs custom built to a person's specifications that fits them physically, is easier to propel, is a lot lighter weight, and we can bill those back through Medicare and Medicaid, which isn't something we were able to do last time I was here. So the scope of care we're able to offer has expanded by quite a bit in the last few months. So we're really excited about that new development.
Now, are there times where you might have to pay a little cash and have insurance kick in? I mean, you're the wizard on this, so how does some of that stuff work?
That is a great question. So when it comes to medical equipment, Medicare, if we're just going to talk Medicare, now different private insurance companies are going to vary, and depending on what company you're with and whether you're through an employer, things could change. But from a Medicare standpoint, if someone has Medicare Part B, then they will approve through a process up to 80% of the contracted rate of a piece of equipment. So Whatever Medicare says is the contracted rate, they will pay 80% of that rate. The customer is going to be responsible for 20%, and that's standard across Medicare Part B. So that's just something they can plan on. Now, if they carry a Medicare supplement, or sometimes called a Medigap plan, those tend to kick in and cover a portion, if not all, of that 20% copay that people will have. Now, if someone's on Medicaid, we tend to get 100% coverage on the medical equipment that is approved through Medicaid. So when someone has Medicaid, they don't have to pay anything out of pocket. But Medicare, we can usually plan on that 20% copay for all the medical equipment, and unless they have some sort of supplemental plan to come in and cover their portion of that.
Do you ever come into situations where it's maybe even also a math problem for people to identify if they can stay in their existing residence, or if they need to move to assisted living?
Definitely. And there are times when we've seen that, when maybe the modifications to the home, whether a stair lift or a ramp, or depending on what the equipment is, just isn't feasible. And that's pretty rare, but it does happen. And in those situations, fortunately, I work with a lot of the facilities, the assisted livings and skilled nursings. And then, of course, we've got a close relationship with Comfort Care Home Care. And by working with some of those other resources, we can often find a good solution that still is best for the client, even if it means they're not getting equipment from us. So the benefit of working with us is we do have those connections. So if I'm not able to solve the problem, I always have someone else who can step in and provide the assistance where I'm not able to.
Well, that's huge. We've been talking about mobility and things like that. Could you maybe speak to what it does to the psyche being able to be mobile and have that freedom?
Oh, that's a big one, actually. And we could spend a really long time on this, but from the foundational perspective and what people don't realize, I said earlier in the last segment, I'm what's called an assistive technology professional. There is a level of medical training and an exam that has to be passed to get that certification. Part of that training is we are taught that if someone needs powered mobility, if you have a child who's born that's not able to walk, we want them to be driving a power chair before they're 2 years old. Because the effect it has on brain development, just being able to have independent mobility, is massive. And that's not something we discuss in everyday lives. It's the same with our seniors. If someone loses the ability to get themselves around, whether that's through walking or through driving a powered wheelchair, they tend to have a cognitive and mental decline at a much higher rate than someone who's still able to functionally get around their home. So if we've got someone who's losing mobility, it's important that we intervene as quickly as possible, because otherwise we're not just going to see a physical decline, we'll also see a mental decline, because there is a connection there that we don't realize happens when we're able to functionally ambulate. So it's an excellent question. That's why getting us in there as quick as possible when we see a need is so vital.
Alan, we're already coming up on our second break here. Just enough time to mention the phone number one more time.
Yeah, with RT Med Mobile, our phone number is 435-260-6171.
Thank you, Alan. This is the Senior Moment Show. Again, we are sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info, or you can email us at empoweringseniorscv@gmail.com, and the CV stands for Cache Valley. This is the Senior Moment Show. We're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
At Maple Springs Senior Living in North Logan, we understand that entrusting the care of your loved one to someone else is a decision not taken lightly. That's why we go above and beyond to create a nurturing environment where your family becomes our family.
When I found Maple Springs, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulders. The staff here really cares, and Mom is thriving.
The activities and social events have brought so much joy to Dad's life. I can see a positive change every time I visit.
We know that your loved one's well-being is your top priority, and it's ours too. Learn more at maplesprings.living.com.
Getting around your home should be easy and safe. At RT Med Mobile, they provide wheelchairs, stair lifts, ramps, and electric lift chairs to help seniors maintain independence and comfort. Their friendly team offers free in-home consultations to find the perfect solution for you or your loved one. Locally owned and here to help. Call 435-260-6171 today. RT Med Mobile, because your mobility matters.
Need a helping hand? The Bear River Association of Governments, also known as BRAG, is here for you.
They assist seniors with in-home services, provide utility bill relief through the HEAT program, and offer rental assistance to keep you housed.
Need help with tax prep? Their experts ensure you get the refund you deserve. And for veterans, they're here to connect you with the benefits you've earned.
BRAG is your local resource for a stronger today and a more secure future. Call today or visit brag.utah.gov.
This is Scott with Cache Valley Pharmacy. Are you struggling to find affordable GLP-1 medications? Cache Valley Pharmacy has you covered. We're now compounding GLP-1s like semaglutide and tirzepatide personally formulated for you, and every batch is tested for quality and sterility. Have your prescriptions transferred today and let Cache Valley Pharmacy help you with your personalized weight loss journey. Cache Valley Pharmacy, keeping it local, online at cachevalleypharmacy.com.
Are you tired of feeling unwell and not knowing why? At Next Level Health and Wellness, we hear you. We specialize in uncovering the root causes of your discomfort, whether it's gut health, hormone imbalances, or emotional and mental blocks. With personalized plans, advanced lab testing, and evidence-based holistic nutrition practices, we guide you toward lasting health and wholeness. Awaken your healing potential with a team that listens, understands, and supports you wherever you are. Visit nextlevelhw.com to start your journey to feeling better today.
And welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. My name is Bryce Patton here with Sid Rover. And we've been talking with Alan Thorn about RT Med Mobile and, how to get some of this equipment paid for and, just how the benefit of being able to move and be able to be independent and what effect that has on the psyche. Over the break, we were talking, I was just curious, do you have any success stories that you'd like to share with people about getting things installed in the home, which allows people their freedom?
Yeah, actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Because, we mentioned earlier the ramps and the stair lifts, and those all make a big difference. But the one story that really stands out to me right now is I was asked to go help a family, and they've got a child who uses a powered wheelchair, wonderful little guy, and really enjoyed getting to know him. And we installed an automatic door opener for him. And that's being able to open doors and close doors effectively when you're using a wheelchair can be quite tricky. We have a device that we can install on someone's door, whether an interior door or an exterior door, that now my little friend on his wheelchair, he can have a little remote control that sits on his chair. When he pulls up to his door so he can come inside the house, he can hit a button, unlocks the door, and opens it up for him. So then now he can come in and out as he pleases, doesn't need someone to come help him. They've also got a platform lift outside so he can go out, get on that, his chair can get down to the level, and he can just go and kind of be on his own. And we actually haven't done a lot of those door openers, but when we do, the life-changing experience these people have with those is just fantastic. And so that was a really fun experience to get to know him and be able to allow him that independent access in and out of his home for a relatively affordable price. And so those are the things that really keep me going.
This just brought me to a question that I had never thought about. If you have somebody in a wheelchair and the environment on their street is not conducive to a wheelchair, are there ways that you can help people maybe talk to the city to see if sidewalks can be leveled, if tree roots have brought the concrete up and things like that?
So we've not had a lot of success getting the cities to help change things. I do work with some of the city representatives around Cache County, and we've talked about concerns and problems that maybe we could deal with to make our county more accessible. We haven't seen a lot of traction with that, but it's worth mentioning that that's one reason I go out to the homes, because if it's an uneven sidewalk, for example, I may be looking at a more robust powered wheelchair with a better suspension that's going to handle the rough ground a little better. There's also things, one issue we've had in the Valley is people in wheelchairs just not being seen. And I've been personally involved with people who've been hit by their cars, who've been hit by cars while using their wheelchairs driving around the Valley. And so we're working with visibility equipment to help them be more visible in their chairs. We're putting lights on the power chairs now. just little things like that. So as far as getting external forces to help in the environmental adjustments, I haven't had a ton of success, but being able to assist the individual to make their life a little safer and easier, we can actually make a big difference in-house. That's been my biggest solution to that problem. It's worth bringing up.
No, I think that's fantastic. I mean, that's definitely one of those hard things. We had options for independence on, and they were talking about how they've been able to do that for the visually impaired, but we haven't seen it with the wheelchairs as much. But I think that's a good point, is why you go out there. And we talked about the lift chairs and part of the reason why you go out. I'm curious, though, like, what's the difference between, because, you're talking about differences in wheelchairs and different things. I imagine there's differences in lift chairs and other equipment that you guys provide. Yeah, that's all good questions today, because there are lift chairs that people can buy online. Amazon sells them and they're super cheap, and it looks like a very inviting prospect. And I often have to have these conversations with people where I explain that we sell what's called a medical grade lift chair. So what that is, it's a chair with fabric designed to reduce shearing forces, because shearing forces, just sliding across a lift chair, can cause some pretty serious pressure injuries and pressure sores, or people call them bed sores. We also, there's incontinence concerns that we build into our chairs. And as far as getting legs up to help with circulation, there's a lot of things that go into a medical grade lift recliner that we don't see in a standard lift recliner online. One of my favorite things to do is I've got one of those Amazon lift chairs, and I'll take it out alongside one of our chairs. And the price difference is quite noticeable. Ours are quite a bit more expensive. But to have someone sit down in a medical grade lift chair for the first time and just hear the audible it feels different, it works different. It's an amazing experience and incredibly rewarding. And I've never had someone regret spending a little money for those higher quality pieces of equipment. It's a life changer. And so when people are weighing those costs back and forth between us and Amazon, we have to remember the quality difference that goes into it. And it's well worth the investment for the right equipment, especially for the seniors that need the help.
Well, and I guess how you said, Alan, I think sometimes it might be relevant also to have the professional's perspective on an item and understand that there is some dangers involved to go with a less expensive product that might cause some injury. So, yeah.
For sure. Yep.
Well, we're coming up at the end of our show here in a hurry, Alan, so I want to give you one last chance to mention your contact information.
Great. Yeah, we are RT Med Mobile, and our phone number is 435-260-6171. And again, that's 435-260-6171.
Thank you, Alan, and for coming in and educating us. We are the Senior Moment Show. We're at the end. We hope you tune in again next week.